and an Oscar nominee. Hi, Camilla.
Hi, Shane. How are you?
Look, I'm so well, but I'm excited because I've been wanting to talk to you all about Porcelain War. First of all, do you know where were you when you first got the news that you had an Academy Award nomination?
I was actually 3 hours into a flight on the way to London from Perth. So I had a very long 14-hour wait trying to find out. The lovely air hostess was trying to get messages from the ground, but I actually found out sort of a day later when I touched down in London, which was very exciting.
How did it work? Did your film get submitted, or did they select it to be part of the category? Like, how did it all work from the beginning after you'd made the film?
So after we made the film, we won lots of lovely awards. We obviously won the Grand Jury Prize at Sundance, which was very special. And then
Yeah,
we had a really strong festival run throughout the year. And then we were lucky enough to partner with a US distributor called Picture House, and they came on board to do a big theatrical campaign. And that was the thing which sort of qualified us essentially to be considered for the Academy Award. And then we were
yeah.
lucky enough to make the short list of the top sort of 15 films. And then from there, we were voted in and we got nominated. So it's really, yeah, you have to sort of play in enough cities to qualify for them.
Yeah, no, I understand that now. Uh, what about the all-female producing team? Must be exciting because, like, I know it's happening more often now, but this is huge. It's really good.
Yeah, and it's quite rare, particularly for documentary and a war
I
documentary.
suppose, yeah,
But I think, yeah, it's so special. And I actually think it brings something really unique to the film. Like, I think you can tell just with the sort of humanity and the sort of tenderness that comes through in the film. I think there was this incredible female energy around it, which wasn't by design. It happened quite organically.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, we have an incredible team. I'm so lucky to work with those women. And yeah, I think it definitely brought something really special.
But when you say it happened organically, did you all know each other, or had you just known each other through association? Because you've done a really good job on Porcelain War, which is, I haven't said it yet, the name of your film.
Yeah. Yeah, so Anyela Sidorska, one of the producers, actually met the Ukrainian artists and discovered their art about 10 years before she
Yeah,
started the film. So the project essentially originated with her, and her husband Brendan is the co-director.
yeah,
And they had sent these cameras in and basically found Paula Dupree Pesman, the other US producer on the project. And Paula and I had just finished producing another film with the other producer, Olivia, which was about teen mental health and suicide, which was called My Sister Lives. So the
mm,
three of us had just worked together quite
mm,
recently, and Aniela came into our lives, and we decided to band together. And it was a very complicated production from the beginning. We chose to do it in complete secret.
mm,
So, fundraising in secret, setting up a secure facility. I kind of brought that, I guess, from the Australian point of view. I knew I had the infrastructure to be able to facilitate that. And so we
yeah,
set up a team of editors and translators and this kind of quite complicated post-production timeline between us and Brendan Nanyella in LA. And yeah, so it sort of required all four of us, and we had this very interesting sort of dynamic of a lot of the times we would be dividing and conquering, and then at other times we'd sort of slip into this kind of relay race around the world.
oh, that's amazing. Like secret fundraising. That's like political.
Yeah, it was
That's
it
fun.
no, look, it was more just we wanted to keep the whole project very, very confidential, and it was mostly for the security of the footage and the security
Yeah,
of the filmmakers, and they placed a huge amount of trust in us sending us the footage. So it wasn't something where we were going to make a deck and start sending it out to funders just far and wide and send the
yeah,
flag up that we were doing this film. So it was really more about that. It just meant that every fundraising conversation had to be a one-on-one Zoom conversation with people that we thought, like, very considered choices of people that we thought would connect with the subject matter. And
yeah,
then we didn't want to send anything to anyone because we were just worried about security. So we'd be trying to share footage over Zoom, and
Mm.
all the complications that came with that um, was sort of a little challenging. But we definitely found some extraordinary supporters of this film, and throughout the year, we just built this community of people around it who supported us and believed in us before, it felt like a real film. So it
Yeah.
was pretty amazing, the people that we collected along the way.
Yeah, well, you were saying about the confidentiality of it all and the security. Were there any limitations, like with the editing process? Because it's such a strong subject matter. Did you just want to put in everything you wanted to put in, or were there things that you had to maybe block or not put into your movie?
Yeah, there were definitely things. I mean, we made an agreement with the Special Forces unit over in Ukraine who were sending us footage that
Yeah,
we wouldn't use anything that wasn't at least 3 months old. So we were always sort of staying a little bit behind them. But I guess one of the biggest challenges was we would receive, hours and hours. We ended up with 15 cameras in the field, over 500 hours of footage.
that's a
And we
lot.
receive it, and then it would have to go through translation before we even knew what the footage was, what they were saying. And a lot of the time, they'd just be having a chat and it would be irrelevant. And then other times, there'd be these
Yeah.
little gems that would come through. So that in itself was a very time-consuming process. But really, I think the story sort of emerged very organically, and the artists on the ground, this was their story and we were following their lead, and we were essentially supporting them, teaching them how to use the cameras, teaching them how to sort of light things, help us with VFX plates, all those sorts of things. And they were sending us the footage, so we really did follow their lead in that. And then we had a big team of editors in Sydney who helped with all of that. Yeah.
Huge team by the sound of it, all working hard together, which is fantastic to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. And we never met the Ukrainians. The two co-directors never met until the
Oh,
premiere at Sundance. So we made the entire thing remotely. I never met Anya until Sundance either. We'd worked together for a year and a half, and
oh,
mm, we had this incredible
yeah. It's
working dynamic over Zoom, and it was really, really special to finally be in the same place. And I think for the for the Ukrainians, meeting people from Australia, they had never left Ukraine, let alone dreaming of going somewhere like Australia. And I think they just felt like we were from another planet, and it was so special to them to know that people on the other side of the world cared about what was happening to them, cared
yeah,
enough to join, and support them in this project. So it was very special for them, I think, to know that there was this community of people around the world all working 24 hours a day to sort of support them in sharing their
yeah.
story.
I mean, the exposure is so strong with your great film. And do you remember the response you started to get when you showed it to people, or was it really Sundance that you got the best perspective of what people's thoughts were when, the finished product?
We had shown it to not many people before Sundance. We had some very private
Yeah,
sort of audience test screenings in the lead up, and we were
yeah,
getting really great feedback. So we knew we had something really special, but it really was at Sundance where we sort of came out and started sharing it with wider audiences. And it was really amazing that they connected with it. And I think for me personally, or I guess the Australian team, screening it at Sydney Film Festival was just like
yeah,
another really great moment, because to see that this huge Australian audience connected with it as well was
yeah,
really, really special. And it sort of just brought home, like, the themes in the film are so universal. It's about Ukraine, but it's actually about so much more. It's about creative people fighting, using their art as resistance, and that's their way that they're fighting oppression. I think there's so many of us around the world who can relate to that, and it's
yeah.
incredible.
I'm one of them. Like being creative and artistic is just different for every single person. It doesn't have to be the same thing. So to express your feelings and how you've shown this in this movie, well, that's where I saw it too at the Sydney Film Festival. So, yeah, I saw the reaction around me and the talk afterwards. It creates discussion.
Yeah, yeah. And the State Theatre is such a beautiful place. I mean, that
Amazing.
was
It's
so
my favorite
special.
place. One of my
Yeah,
favorite
yeah,
places.
yeah. And to
Yeah.
have all of these Australian crew members who'd worked in secret. I mean, we swore people like they their lives away on this. And so really like a lot of people hadn't told their partners what they were working on. It was
Okay.
just sort of mystery project about artists. We didn't want anyone to say that it was Ukrainian or anything. So I think it was really, really special for them to be able to invite all of their family and friends along and show them finally what they'd been working on.
Personally, during this long process of making it and getting it together and getting it out there, were you ever thinking of why am I doing this, or it's too much, or did you just handle the pressure and just keep going, like you personally?
Me personally, no, look, there were definitely very, very challenging times. And
Yes.
we're working across 6 different time zones and um
Mm,
there were incredible complications and a lot of budget stresses and production stresses and things. But honestly, every time we let those little thoughts creep in, we would just think about the artists in Ukraine and we would just think, come on, it's nothing compared to what they were dealing with. So
yeah.
there was this very much, there was this feeling of like rallying the troops, like we had our part to play and
Yeah.
support them. So it was a pretty good motivation to keep going and keep bringing the team together and keep driving on. But yeah, it wasn't an easy production, I'll say that.
No, I bet not. And I just commend you all for it. Couldn't be easy over such a long period of time and different time zones, like you said, to connect like you did. So that's a huge congratulations. And you've been, acknowledged by this amazing award. Are you going to the Oscars? Are you one of?
Yeah,
I mean, are you
yeah, yeah.
all? Are you all going? Have you all got your big round
We'll be
table?
there. Even Frodo the dog will be there.
Oh, wow, that's great. Yeah, I have seen dogs and animals at award shows before. They do make exceptions.
Yeah, yeah. No, yes, we will all be there and some of our Australian team are coming over as well and it'll be a really special moment for us all, I think, to reflect on the incredible 2-year journey that we've all been on together.
Now, I'm not going to jinx anything, but just hypothetically, who's speaking in the speech, or will it be a collective effort?
Oh, I think the directors, I think Brendan and
Yeah,
Slava, honestly, are the
yeah,
heroes of this story in my mind, and they just won the DGA award on the
yeah,
weekend, so
yeah. True.
deserved. Just it's so extraordinary what they managed to do together and separated in different countries. It's just, yeah, I'm so happy for both of them, and they're extraordinary spokespeople for the film. So I'm very happy to be standing beside them.
Before we wrap it up, just a little bit about you, Camilla. Documentarian, was that always going to be the case? Were you always going to do filmmaking, or,
No, not at all.
some sort of art?
I did a science degree and then
Wow.
I was an
Okay.
accountant for a year and then I just woke up one day and I was like, what am I doing? These are not my people. Um, so I moved back to Australia and actually started as the receptionist in a production company. I didn't even really know what a production company did. And
Okay.
that turned out to be Radical Media, an American production company. So I spent 10 years producing TV commercials, working my way up with them, and then
Okay.
have spent the last sort of 5 or 6 years doing documentaries. And I started in-house at a production company called Finch, which I've spent most of my career in, and produced a film called A Fire Inside, which was about the Black Summer bushfires. And then
Yeah, right. I'm aware of that. I didn't realize you were part of that. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So I produced that. And then before that, I was associate producer on a film called Girls Can't Surf and another film called Machine. So very much the documentary was in my background and
Yeah.
worked on a few Chef's Table episodes and that kind of thing. And then
Yeah.
met Paula and Olivia when I was doing My Sister Live, and a filmmaker called Al Hicks, who's an incredible director. And then we've basically started a new company, which is Songbird Studios, with
Yes.
Al Hicks and my husband, Luke Mazzaferro, and Rob Galuzzo. So we're still definitely in the building with Finch, but Songbird Studios has been born a couple of years ago, and Porcelain War is the first of many films that will be coming out. So we've been developing the slate for a couple of years now, and it's very, very exciting that we're getting this response from our first film, and I can't wait to share the rest of the suite over the next couple of years.
Yeah, well, it's the 3rd of March. So that Monday, the 3rd of March here in Australia, obviously different time zone. You'll be the day behind, but that won't matter. We'll all be watching. I spoke with Luke to set this up to begin with, and then Lily. So I'm really glad this has happened. I've got to know, do you know what you're wearing yet? Have you got any?
I do not know. No, I'm home for about 3 days this weekend. I've got to race to the shop and try and find something.
Oh, look, just put it out there.
I wanted to wear an Australian designer, so I'll do my best.
Yeah, no, the Australian designer, you've got to represent, and I'm sure you will. You're representing us all. You all are, like such a solid movie. And Girls Can't Surf is another documentary I didn't realize you were part of. I helped promote that, when it got a theatrical release here. So I'm aware of your work, just didn't know it, Camilla. Sorry about that.
Yeah, right. No, not at all. Well, the director of that, Chris Neelius, we're just in sort of the final stages of post-production on another documentary with him. So I'll be excited to tell you about when we release it in the next couple of months.
Good. Well, to wrap it up in your own words, this movie is going to get some attention, even, just because it's nominated, it'll get out there. What do you want people to get from it if they watch it? Like your own opinion on what you want people to get out of it and see within your film, Porcelain War.
I hope they're inspired by it, and I hope it helps people to, in these like very distressing times, I think, when there's a lot of negativity and people start feeling quite hopeless. I hope that they will watch our film and remember that there are real people out there refusing to be oppressed, and they're using something like art as resistance, and it's incredibly hopeful and inspiring. And I think creative people and non-creative people will connect with that everywhere. So I hope that that's what people kind of feel when they watch it.
I think so. I was inspired. Like I said, that huge state theatre crowd were, just enough energy and sort of discussion afterwards to get you inspired. So it's worked on that front. Yeah. And very important, not that I have experience in this, but you need to wear comfortable shoes. Now, heels, yes, they look good, but wear comfortable shoes, okay?
Somebody's already given me the hot tip. They're like, needs to have a platform, not too high.
Yeah, or have some ballet flats. Have some ballet flats in your clutch or something.
I'll keep it in mind. Thanks.
Okay. I can't believe I'm giving out fashion advice. It's not really my thing.